What's going on, everybody? It is Coach Greg Adams, and I'm back in here with the Ask Coach Greg Adams channel. Shout out to the Coach Gang for being here. And check out my QR code that is floating around this screen somewhere. I don't know. I think it's going to be here. I need to keep track. It's going to be here. That's going to link you to all of my social media, all of my books, all of the merchandise, everything about CGA, just in case YouTube start bugging. All of my YouTube channels, everywhere you can find me, man, because I got to be on the run. I got to hop around here because you know how they bugging on a brother. But anyway, check that QR code out, click it, get involved with what CGA's got going on. Coaching calls are there as well. There's no excuse about not looking in the description box. It's all down there. But anyway, let's get to this one. This is an Ask session. Now, this question comes from Lock City, and he's asking about the 7-year rule, in which a lot of people are asking, simple questions. A lot of people are new to the sphere in the last 2 years, and they're learning. They're like, what is going on here? And we get complex, but people need the simple information. And this question is an example of simple information, meaning the 7-year rule. Let's read the question. Hello, Coach. Hope all is well. I don't think I've ever seen a video made about this subject, but I was wondering if it is in fact true that if you live with a woman for 7 years, that you are basically considered married. All right? He's asking about common law marriage, which a lot of people have heard of. Many people don't investigate. Men don't investigate. Men don't go in depth to try to learn how to protect themselves until they're in a divorce. Then they're wondering why they got screwed. You got screwed because you didn't look for the information. Here's the deal. What he's talking about is a common law marriage, commonly referred to for women as some sort of alimony. All right. So what she's getting is, and we say she because we're talking about the man as the breadwinner. In this case, she gets a little bit of legal protection where she gets alimony for a period of time, depending on the length of the cohabitation, based on the fact that you guys tried to cheat the system and not get a state license. Right? You tried to cheat the system. We just gonna live together, baby. All right? This is why we tell you, no cohabitation, no long-term relationships, no marriage. And what typically happens is we tell it to men that's trying to rebuild their lives, and oftentimes we think that's a lifelong thing, but we want you to understand that at some particular point, once you get those leverages and options, you might consider a cohabitation or a marriage, and you will have enough leverage and options. You will know what you need to lose in order to not make a dumb decision and then not do your research, right? So then you'll figure out if you really want it. But let's just be honest. Not every state has common law marriage. In fact, many feminists are against common law marriage because, number one, it makes them look weak, and they don't want to look weak. They want to look strong. They don't want to have to depend on the law to deal with common law marriages. So they're actually trying to get common law wiped off the books. And here's the second reason why a feminist typically wants to do that is because she can be responsible for some of these dudes, these Chaz Tyrones, these Pookies and Ray Rays. She can be financially responsible for common law, meaning she might be able to have to pay alimony to someone else, and they don't want that either. So they know more women are working, and they might have to date or marry down, and they know they can be responsible for it, so they want it off the books. Just to be clear, not every state has common law, and I'm going to name the states that might, at this point, at this day of I'm recording, might have a common law stipulation in their marriages or in their cohabitation. The states are Texas, Colorado, Kansas, Iowa, Montana, South Carolina, Utah, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Idaho. And that's as of today. It all can change overnight. So don't depend on that. You have to do your due diligence regarding this. Now, how can you get hemmed up in a common law situation? Number one, you live with a woman for 9 years, you might get hemmed up on that. Or let's just say you live with her for a period of time. You might thought you had a breakup and she moved in and out. But for the most part, she came and lived with you for a period of time. Well, here's the deal. There's many instances where you guys try to skirt these things and try to get ahead of the law, and you get hemmed up. So you don't get a legal marriage certificate. You just say, we're going to get married and jump the broom. All right, we're going to go down to the courthouse. That's a bad example. We're going to jump the broom. We're going to walk over coals. We're going to have a ritual. Now, it might not be a marriage to you, and it might not be a marriage to her until the breakup. And then she might say, well, I technically was his wife. He said I was girlfriend. He said I was his wife. And you say, there's no paper to prove it. Aha. But there might be paper to prove it. And some of the papers could be life insurance beneficiary, auto insurance. That person might be listed as a spouse. If you purchase property together, you put the title into her name or your name or both of your names, and it's listing that person as the spouse. Not only that, there's other ways where you can say the medical benefits at your company. That person can have access to your medical benefits as a spouse. Not only that, there's people that you introduce yourself to that said that could testify if the person challenges it and say, no, we were married. They can say, yes, he introduced this person as a spouse. There could be teachers at your school, coaches of your kids, and says, yes, that was his wife. They always said that was his wife or his wifey. You might have put a post on social media, my wife. You see what I mean? These are ways that things, trust me, people, when they're desperate, they will do things like this, and you got to watch out. Pay attention to these details because they do come back to bite you and all of that stuff. So there's that. And also there's this, and I'm going to tell you about some other rules that you might not be accustomed to or familiar with that can bite you in the butt in terms of the time clock. Number one, it's going to be the 10-year rule, specifically in California. If you've been married for 10 years, if you get a divorce after 10 years and 1 day or after the 10-year mark, you could be responsible for paying your spouse's alimony for life. Yes, I said for life. You can be responsible for paying for life. Meaning if you got married at 25 and divorced at 36 and you just move on, well, guess what? You have to pay alimony to that spouse who was the lesser earner for their lifetime. Okay, and it's hard to get alimony reversed, so you got to pay it for life. That's typically was the rule in California, although I will tell you, I have witnessed them doing a de-escalation along the years. Now, the de-escalation might not be what you like and favorable to, meaning you want it to de-escalate in 10 years, but they might say, let's de-escalate it over 20 or 30 years, right? So you still might be responsible for a great bit of alimony. But they're also trying to wean women off from using the system as well. So that is trending. So you got to watch out for that. The 10-year rule, right? I've seen women use the 10-year rule like this. They got married young, divorced young, meaning divorced before 40. Then they moved on with their lives. The first husband that was married to them, married them 20 years ago, still paying the other woman alimony, but she lives with another man. She lives with another man that she introduces as her husband. But on paper, they're not husband and wife. Because this woman's going to lose significant portions of alimony from the first marriage. And as time goes on, that first marriage was 30 years ago. All right? It was 30 years ago, but she's still getting paid, living with another man, and she's getting the alimony. Guys, crazy stuff happens like this. The next thing you have to worry about is your child support clock. Be very conscious of what state you live in, because child support is calculated differently and over different period of years, right? So in California, it is when the child turns 18 and or graduates from high school. You have to figure that out. And many times you have to file with the court to stop these payments from being taken out, because they ain't gonna stop it for you. All right, they don't have a thing in their computer for some reason. They don't have the technology to say, this is your last payment, sir. You got to go in the court and say, hey, this kid is 18 or they graduated from high school. One of these qualifications has happened. I am now not going to be paying any more child support. You guys need to stop it. The child support system, for some reason, they're so smart as to be able to track your ass down, but so dumb as to not automatically stop your payment. So you got to watch out for them. They're very much scammy like that. Now, here's the funny thing. In New York, it could be up to age 21. Oh boy, 21. So yes, you got child support in New York, age 21. And especially if that person still lives with the baby mother or the ex-wife and goes to college, you still owe child support. Lamar Odom found this out the hard way. He thought his kids were grown and that they were 18 and he no longer had to pay for them. But in New York, it's 21, and especially if you were a student and those kids were students and the ex-baby mother or ex-wife took Lamar Odom to court and said, I haven't gotten any money for him for years. For years. And Lamar Odom said, they grown. I've already paid them directly. Don't work like that. The state is crazy. So anyway, those are just some examples, man. And I'm here to educate you. This is the best edutainment on YouTube. I'm here from Studio C, right here in the Desert Storm bunker. And you in here with the Bruce Wayne of this ish. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. And of course, if you want to see Studio C, let me know, man. I'm thinking about, you know how you meet with YouTube channels. I'm thinking about starting a channel where I feature everything here in Studio C, and there's a lot of surprises that you don't see on camera. So I'm thinking about that, but of course there's politics and YouTube is messy with that stuff. So sometimes I get discouraged about putting in that work. But listen, putting in the work is all fun. Anyway, shout out to the Coach Gang. And if you have any questions, hit me up. AskCoachGregAdams@gmail.com. Hit the link, hit the QR code, hit the link. Get it in here, man. And we out of here. Peace. I kissed it.